In here a second ago. Where'd he go?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for coming to our Wednesday afternoon call. It's February 14th, again, already a month and a half into the year, and we're progressing, going further head over heels, and a lot of great product services and everything that we're doing. It's just fantastic. And a couple things that have come up, tax season is coming, and eventually we'll have to be doing everything there. And hopefully Don will help us with that, some of that information in the near future. And also we're starting to work with other countries, especially like Australia, and with the V marketing, which is just been also growing so much. And also with our brain food, that the academy that also can be promoted, around the globe. So today, Larry is going to tell us more about working with overseas and being able to advertise at foreign countries. So thank you. Appreciate it, Larry. Thanks for being here, and take it away.
Thanks, Tom. First off, today is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And a belated happy birthday to Donna Walker Meyer. So, yeah, you're welcome. So today we're going to go over some information about advertising to foreign countries. So I'm going to share my screen here, and hopefully we'll be able to see what we need to see here. So here it goes. Everybody see this PowerPoint? If I can get it working.
Not yet.
It says to double click to enter full screen mode. There you go.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so advertising in a foreign country. To English or not to English? First things first. I need to move something here. Okay, step one. Write your ad in Google Docs. If you have brain fog, use ChatGPT for ideas. Step two. Translate your ad in Google Docs to Spanish, German, or whatever language you select. In Google Docs, of course, you're going to write your ad in Google Docs, and then you want to translate it. So in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to have your menu, and you want to click on Help. And then you're going to select Search the Menus, which is this one right here. What comes up next, where it says Menus, you want to type in Translate. So once you put in Translate, you have to select Translate Document. And then you're going to select the language that you want to translate to. So you're going to select Choose a Language. And then you're going to select the language you want to translate it to. In my case, it's Spanish. And then you're going to click the Translate button. Okay, then I forgot the slide here, but then it's going to translate your document into Spanish. So the next thing you want to do, actually, you should actually do this first, is your research. According to official statistics, about 12% of the population of Mexico can speak English. The percentage of Mexicans who can speak English is higher in the major tourist destinations and towards the northern border with the United States. 96% of the population speaks mostly Spanish. English is spoken most commonly in tourist areas and major cities. particularly in regions with high levels of international tourism and business activity. Cities like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, and Mexico City have significant populations of English speakers due to their popularity among tourists and expatriates. Additionally, areas with strong expatriate community, such as San Miguel de Allende and Lake Chapala, also have a higher prevalence of English speakers. However, it is important to note that Spanish is the official language of Mexico, and proficiency in English may vary widely depending on the location and the individual background. While English is spoken to some extent in various parts of Mexico, there isn't a specific geographic region where English is exclusively spoken. Instead, English tends to be more prevalent in certain areas due to factors such as tourism, international business, and expatriate communities. Here are some regions where English is commonly spoken. Tourist destinations. Places like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Puerto Vallarta, Los Cabos, and Riviera Maya are popular tourist destinations where English is widely spoken due to the influx of international visitors. Major cities. Mexico City, being the capital and a hub for international business, often has English speakers, especially in business and tourist areas. Other major cities like Guadalajara and Monterrey also have English-speaking populations, particularly among business professionals and expatriates. Expatriate communities. Certain areas have significant expatriate communities where English is commonly spoken among residents. Examples include San Miguel de Allende, Ajijic, and Lake Chapala. English proficiency in Mexico: green is moderate, yellow is low, and orange is high. In conclusion, the best place to advertise in English is in the expatriate communities, tourist communities in major cities. Otherwise, advertise in Spanish to other communities. Plus, advertise also, sorry about that. Plus, advertise also to the minor cities, tourist communities, and the expatriate communities. Now, Velavita, they show all the countries. When you log into Velavita, this screen should pop up. It shows all the countries that Velavita ships to. So you can advertise to Europe, but you want to do it in the language that is shown here. You would have to do research to know which language they speak. Of course, you have the Americas, Africa, Asia, and Australia.
Larry, could you go back
Yes.
to that 1 second?
Sure.
Because I want to point something out that some people may not have seen yet.
Can you see that?
Yes, it went back.
Talking to myself. Okay. If you notice at the bottom of the screen, that star, in every country with a star are countries that you can only sell the tune to. So there is a special tune package only, and it's due to shipping costs and stuff. And imports. So they have rules. So don't advertise the whole package necessarily to those particular countries. There's quite a few, and I just wanted to point that out. There is a special package that's tunes only for those countries.
Yeah, it looks like Africa Asia, well, most of Asia, quite a few countries in Europe, a couple of countries in Americas are only for the tune. So thank you, Donna, for pointing that out.
That could change, so keep an eye on it.
Right. Now, let's look at some places in Europe. Okay, we'll take Germany first. Recent figures estimate the proportion of English speakers in Germany is around 56% of the population. More than half of the population speaks English to some extent, with the prevalence of popular tourist areas and younger people under 50 being even higher. So English is more common in Germany than other European countries. And when I was
Teach it
stationed,
in the schools.
yeah, it's a requirement for school children to take a second language. And second language in Germany is English. So that's why there's such a high density of population that speaks English. And those kids actually come home and speak English to their parents, so their parents learn right along with them. Italy. Recent estimates suggest that about 34% or just over a third of Italians are able to speak English. Many of this one-third proportion will only be able to speak English. I can't even speak English, gosh. Very basic English. However, truly fluent English speakers are actually quite rare in Italy and will usually be students and well-educated professionals. Okay, France. In general, English is not very widely spoken overall in France, with recent surveys estimating that around 39%, or just under 2/5 of the French population, are able to speak English to some degree. Not many of these can speak it fluently, though, and many of these percentages will only be able to converse in very basic English at best. In conclusion, so is it English or non-English? In respect to the people of the country that you're advertising in, always place your ads in the native language of that country. Try to tell about the translator in your ad. If you do not, everybody should have this button on their PBS. If you do not have this button in the upper right quadrant of your PBS, it will be in step 5 of your training. I listed all of our RAM affiliates and where they ship to. So, for example, Meal Healing, they ship to US and outliers, US Virgin Islands, Armed Forces, Europe, Pacific, and Americas, as well all of the others except for Golden Monk and MIT 45. It's US only and is banned in some cities and states in the United States. The others, DTCA, I said, see the website for what countries we ship to. Villa Vita, see slide 21 or above or their website. And Savings Highway Global depends on each individual seller. Next, military. There are thousands of US military bases around the world that you can advertise to. I am including a list of those military bases here. So when you click on this, it will open up another screen. And here's all your military bases that you can advertise to, and the city, state, and when we come down to...
Those aren't showing yet.
Oh, they're not? Oops. Okay, hold on.
No, still on the click here.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop the share. And then I'm going to start the share again.
There you go.
Okay. So I've broken it down to each state and what military bases are in that state, and where you can, the cities that you can advertise to. So each state has their own heading. When I scroll down to foreign countries, so I've got everything listed for each country that we have a military base in. Okay. So you'll know to what city you can advertise.
Thank you
To our
so much,
military.
Larry. Great job.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get this one done. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share again, and then I'll start it with the other one. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint again?
Yep.
Okay, so there's the list of military bases. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Above all, be creative and have fun. And that is it for my presentation. Any questions?
That was fantastic.
Are we
The
by chance going to get access to that spreadsheet that you showed?
Yeah, I will put the PowerPoint in the Skype chat. So you'll just be able to open it up. And then when you get to that point where you can click on here on the military bases, it's actually in the PowerPoint. So you'll be able to see it.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
That was awesome, Larry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, as far as advertising to those places, everybody should know, or if you don't, the classifieds for free is where you can also advertise to the other countries. Doesn't have everything that, of course, Larry just showed us, but it has a good amount of other countries. All you have to do is select it when you go there. Okay, that's the classifiedsforfree.com.
Right. Now, I also I made up a list, if any of you remember the mega classified ad spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
I added to that specific ad sites that cater to those specific countries. Okay, so like say for example, Locanto. Locanto is, I believe, the #1 ad site in Mexico. But you have to
Awesome.
go to the Locanto for Mexico, not the Locanto for the United States. So I made up a sheet for that also, which I'll include.
Then you have the Locanto for Canada also.
Right, exactly.
Thanks for sharing that. That was a lot of work.
Thank you.
Hey, Larry, thanks for the presentation. I have a quick question.
Okay.
So when you go to post the ads on the sites for the military bases, there's no way, you don't have to specify the military base, right? You just post it for that particular or pertinent country or state.
Right. So say for example, let me share the screen again here.
Okay, thank you.
He's put the cities there too, Len.
Right. So if you say for example, let's look at Germany, because Germany has so many military bases that you just want to advertise to the particular city.
City. Okay, okay.
So say for example, probably the biggest military base in Germany is Ramstein Air Force Base. Okay, so that is in Kaiserslautern, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you want to do is you just want to advertise specifically to the military in Kaiserslautern. So when you go to the ad site, you might be able to go to Germany and then the city that you want to advertise to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why everything is broken down with the cities out to the side. Now you'll notice that some of these have little asterisks next to them.
Mm-hmm.
At the top of the page, it shows you that the cities in red to the right are the closest cities that you can advertise in. The cities in purple and have the two asterisks have no American families. So there's no reason to advertise, say, for example, like the Brain Food Academy.
Mm.
So, say, for example, Alaska Clear Air Force Station has the two asterisks. That means only the military there and not the families. Okay, so you'll notice a lot of these foreign countries do not have families that are stationed with the military personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for example, South Korea. South Korea has places that the families, only the spouse is allowed in base housing,
Mm-hmm.
and is only temporary.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no reason to advertise to that particular place in South Korea. In the Army, there's too many to list. Spouses allowed in base housing for a short period of time only as a visitor. Okay, and I guess there's reasons for that.
Mm.
So there's no reason to actually advertise a lot in South Korea. But there are places that do allow base housing, say, for example, for the Navy. You're allowed to, you can advertise to this particular place because they have families on those bases.
Mm-hmm.
So just read the information at the top here.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Any other questions?
Did you sleep at all?
Making all that?
Yeah.
No, well, actually, I did. It just took me a while to get everything put together. Doing research on all the military bases is a big job because of how many there are.
Thank you, Larry. That
Mhm.
was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's why when you do the advertising and you start adding in the military, like on that classified ads for free, you only maybe have 50 states, but then in the United States alone, then you start adding the military bases. So now you have the states, and then you have the cities underneath the states that have the military bases. So that adds up, comes up to a little better than 250 in all. So that takes time. So again, when you do the advertising, you want to get everything prepared first, your ad and everything, and then the time you use for advertising, then you just shoot out that ad to them. Because it's going to take an average of about 2 hours just to do that alone. add in what Larry just gave you, it's going to take some time.
You can also do a list for cities with universities. When you're thinking about Velveeta, a lot of these university kids, especially the upper grades, like natural health supplements. It's a good place to advertise. And think about that for various things, maybe particular types of clothing. Um, just think about different groups of target audiences that you want to advertise for and make yourself a list if there is if you can group them.
Mm-hmm. The different demographics and the different social medias that they belong to. Most of them nowadays are between 20 and 30 years old, and for most of the social media. But like Donna just said, yeah, the health products would be great for that.
That, and Katie Lux has a whole line of clothing for specific universities. So you would put in the example with, say, for example, Texas Longhorns. She has clothing for Texas Longhorns, so you would want to advertise that particular product in the city that the university is in Texas.
Austin.
Yeah, Austin, and Arizona State University, and Alabama Crimson Tide, and places like that advertise to that particular city. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, that's where you want to advertise the Alabama Crimson Tide clothing.
So Larry, when you do the ads, so for example, Alabama, right? So if I post my ad to the state of Alabama, you saying I should also go ahead and do the city?
Absolutely.
I would. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Depending on what you're putting out an ad for,
Right.
you can target a certain audience that's going to give you more replies.
Responses. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.
Okay.
So you can do all the cities in if you're doing classifieds for free, do all the cities, then hit my ads and look at the ones, the states, put it in all the states rather, and then look in my ads for the highest number of clicks that you got. Go to those states and put it on all the cities in those states. Saves you some time. You can weed through it and target where you're getting the most clicks at.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Donna. Thanks, Larry.
It's the same way with when you're building your blog page. If you want to look at the news, in print, for example, in Florida where I live, the biggest thing going on here were the teachers, and they were being controlled and not being able to promote certain books and everything. So when it comes to our teacher program for brain food, I have a lot more Florida cities than just Florida itself in general. I have a whole bunch more. And underneath that, not only do I have different cities per population, but also, like Larry is showing, for military bases also. So I had you can have the combination of the largest population and the military, combine them all under one state. So you can, promote to more, not just, just the state.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I got it. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something about the Azores. There's an Air Force base on the Azores, the island, that only caters to military aircraft that are refueling. And unfortunately, the amount of military that's there to fuel those planes, they don't have enough room on the island to build houses for the families. So even though they have a military base, there's no reason to advertise there because there's no families. And let me tell you a little bit of a story about advertising, people responding to your ad. Some places require that you put in your email address. So one day I got this email from somebody that saw something on my advertisement saying, is this item still available? If it is, I would like to send you money plus another $100 to expedite it to me. And I thought about that and I'm like, this is a scammer. So what person in their right mind would send you an extra $100 just to expedite it to them? So I wrote back to him and said, you have to purchase through the website. So if you ever get those emails from people saying something like that, and you will get them because I've gotten them more than once, you basically just have to ignore it and don't get excited because somebody's going to send you an extra $100.
Yep, good point. That's why I never put my phone number on those things. I always used email.
Oh yeah, never put your phone number. Okay, Tom, if there's no other questions, we can pretty much end it here.
Okay. As far as the emails go, you can always set up your email like Rory has and I have and others, make one specifically for your ads to put in your ads, like tomdpost@gmail.com or Debbie dpost at, that's, or Debbie L post POST, then whatever emails you get is from an ad you placed. Okay, so it's not
Right.
personal and it doesn't get mixed up with your professional website that you use for this business. It's one separate one. Because you can have, as many Gmails as you want. So, this is the way you can determine when you do get an email at that address, it's from one of your ads you put out there. If you're going to put in an email address at all, and sometimes, you want to do that. I do it sometimes, but not necessarily all the time. But you can pick and choose. But when you have your own email address like that, specifically for responses, then you'll know for sure that's where it's coming from.
And just remember, those ads stay out there for years and years and years. So I've gotten things that I posted, I've gotten replies back from things I've posted 4 years ago.
And how do you respond to that if you advertise something we no longer do?
Well, so far I haven't come across that. You can always refer them to a different product or recommend a different product and tell them you can help them purchase that. Go here, go to this link and check it out.
Yeah.
People should know that, products don't last forever, but since we don't really date it, it's hard to tell. But, like everything, we've done, and what Donna just said, when something changes on our blog page for a particular product, we can basically use the same information and that's why we don't want to put specific names on the blog pages per se, because that product company we may not be using anymore, but you can still use the content, which is already drawing people to your website. So you don't want to get rid of it. You don't ever want to put it in draft. You just want to update it with the latest equivalent product. And if somebody says that, just say, well, it's been so good that it was, out of stock and this is what we recommend, or here's something else you can look into.
The one thing with that, if you're like, if we have a product that we're no longer advertising or offering, you Tom's right in saying that you don't ever put the page into draft, but what you do want to do is make sure you go into that page and take all of the links to that offer, because that's the other bad thing that can happen against you is that those links may become a dead links, and if you don't have Google AdSense, then that's going to cause you not to get Google AdSense. So just make sure that if it's an offer we're no longer offering, you can leave it the page a floating page. In other words, you would take it off your menus, but then also take the links out of it, the links to that offer. But if you have internal links on that page, leave those links there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like Roy has actually talked numerous times about pages he's done years ago, and then he's still making money off of those, or even getting hits off of those, right? Which is like really important to have that traffic, that continuous traffic is really important for your PBS.
Yeah, as long as they can get to your site and be able to look around, you're achieving your goal.
Yeah.
One of your initiatives to get people on your blog site. So yeah, don't put it in draft, just take it out, keep it floating, but take off the active links. That way, later on, if we get a product that's similar to that, which has happened recently, and I used an older page that we had, and I just put a different link in there. So most of the content was already done because basically the same benefits were listed. So it saves you a lot of time.
Hey, Donna, I have seen this actually just came up this week. So I have seen where Rory does also on those pages that are no longer, that advertise a product that we no longer have active.
Yeah.
He's actually gone in and put the company website in there. And yes, it still gives the company sales and you don't get anything out of it other than the traffic. But I don't know, is that something that students should or should not do?
I wouldn't, personally, because, well, I guess you could.
You know what I'm
But
saying? Because of
usually
the
if we-
link, because it's,
Usually, yeah, but usually if we're not offering that, there is a
right.
reason we're not offering that.
That's kind of what I
So
was thinking too,
I
because
would
usually
say
it's,
no. Yeah, I
you,
would say no.
we don't
Rory
want to
has had,
advertise. Yeah.
right. Rory had, yeah, if there is a reason that we're no longer carrying it, then there is a reason for that. And we don't want to be sending people there.
Right. It's not necessarily bad blood, but
Right.
there's been an issue that we no
No
longer
worries.
carry them, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I just wanted to be sure before I was directing people in a certain way.
Now Rory may do that because he's been doing this for 35 years and
Yes,
I'm sure he has lots
Does
of
this
things that
microwave
he,
work?
that's Grace.
iPhone
Yeah.
6, please
The one to
mute.
buy for.
Her
Oh,
name is Grace, and I think she's
Oh, yeah, no.
Rebecca's.
Thanks,
There you
Joe.
go.
Oh,
Yeah, so I just wanted to be sure because there was newer students that actually brought it to me, and I was leaning towards, even though he does it, doesn't necessarily mean we should do it.
Right. I would say no,
Okay.
because I think it's gonna totally confuse them and
Yeah.
it doesn't fit what we're doing right now.
Well, guys, in any of those kiosks, just a heads up on this, what I tell my students, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I tell my students is any of those offers that are no longer active that we would redirect somewhere or leave as a floater page, you can redirect them to something at Savings Highway Global.
yeah.
It takes a 15, 20 minutes for you to go research it. For instance, I was just talking with a student today. If it's like somebody said something about the cursed page, and somebody else said something about, the shoe carrier clip and the, whoa body scrubber. Guys, these fall into categories, right? which means that you can go look up beauty supplies in your shopping portal at Savings Highway Global. You can look up, makeup or whatever. List a couple of the stores that are available in SHG, right? Hey, this is where you can get these kinds of products, right? So you can always redirect almost anything we have to Savings
That's
Highway
right.
Global. So
Yeah,
just a heads up on
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, you may need to reword some of the stuff, so obviously not mentioning an actual
Exactly.
body scrub, but talking about, cleaning products, for in the bathroom or whatever, right? I mean, you just need
Right,
to
like bath
reword a little bit, but
products, right?
yeah, exactly,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't carry a body scrubber, right? As long as you're not saying whoa, whoa, and as long as you're
yeah,
not, using, um, for those of you that have been here long enough that still have a Curse Cosmetics page, that's a brand name. And so are the products that were listed in that page, such as like the spell book and things like that. So you need to really, if you're going to redirect it to something in SHG, you need to make sure that you're not saying anything that was product related. It has to be generic. So you
Keep
can't
it
say
general.
something like the Klitsch, you can't say something like the Klitsch shoe carrier clip because Klitsch is the brand name. You can't say something like Spellbook because that's from Curse Cosmetics. Okay. So those types of things, but you can still redirect it to cosmetics. You can still redirect it to sports,
I know that's what you wish
items.
to me, right?
Grace,
Mm.
Grace,
Yes.
can you please mute?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So just remember to just be careful if you're redirecting. It's a great way to save the page, but make sure that you're looking at the page before you leave it be.
And that usually happens after you've been here 4 or 5 years. But
Exactly.
so we don't want to confuse all these new people coming in. That's why we don't use brand names on the pages, right? So if
exactly.
something like that, for some reason, an item gets pulled, you can use something very similar and you won't have to start all over again creating a page. If it's similar item, then you just have to do a little bit of tweaking on it and put in new links and you're ready to go again. That doesn't happen very often, but it sure makes life easier when you can do it easily. So if anybody else has any lists that they find in order to do their ads, is anything similar to what we have today, that was incredible. It takes a lot of work, and I really appreciate everybody sharing their ideas and their list. Larry, that was an awesome job. And thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Thank you. It's in the evolution chat.
Thanks. Anybody else? Tom? Do you have anything else that you want to address?
Not at this moment that I can think of.
Okay, then I'm going to go over something.
Great.
There's a lot of questions with
Hold
the.
on. Donna, I'm sorry. Tom, you want to stop the recording?
Okay, we're going to stop the recording, folks.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Let's